Yo, Rob here from Showdown, and today we are doing Anime Gauntlets Part 9. Let's do it. So first up, it looks like we have Saber from Fate Zero or Fate Stay Night, just based off of the picture here. In round 1, she's going up against Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. This is a stomp. This is destruction. I don't care about water breathing. I don't care about fire breathing. Saber alone, just off of the swordsmanship, is outclassing Tanjiro in every single way. We can go down to number 2, looking at Levi Ackerman from Attack on Titan. This is also another stomp. I understand that Levi is quick. I understand that he's agile, but it depends on the location where he can really use the ODM gear. But even if he has access to the ODM gear, again, listen, Saber, just based off swordsmanship alone, is going to outclass Levi as well. And she doesn't really even have to break out the Excalibur for somebody like Levi. Now we're going to number 3, who is Urza Scarlet from Fairy Tail. Let's break this down. This matchup right here is very, very close. Because when we talk about the swordsmanship coming from Saber, we've seen her box against Berserker, we've seen her box against Lancer, we've seen her box against even all of Gilgamesh. Saber has fought against many different opponents with different fighting styles, so she's versatile in that sense. But what makes Urza versatile is that she can switch her armor to different fighting styles as well. So they're both versatile on what they've dealt with and what they can change into. Now, if Urza goes into that attack form where she's relying strictly on her offensive abilities and has no defense, that form is not going to work against Saber. May have done something against Irene, but against Saber that's not working, because again, Saber has access to Avalon, Saber has access to Excalibur, and if Saber starts using her Noble Phantasm on Urza, Urza's getting bodied. But on the flip side, Urza has a whole bunch of different armors that she can change into. But here's the thing, the armors that Urza can change into are nothing that Saber has not already seen. A lot of Urza's armor abilities resemble that of a Gilgamesh, resemble that of the Lancer, resemble some of the Berserker. I mean, it's nothing that Saber has not already dealt with in Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night. So it kind of brings the question of, well, how's Urza really gonna catch Saber off guard if Saber's already prepared for all her different armor types? And this is when we bring in the fact that Urza is more durable than Saber. Urza can tank more attacks than Saber. But if Saber uses her Noble Phantasm, Excalibur, I don't think Urza's getting up from that. So this one's a very close matchup, because I do think that Urza's more durable than Saber, but Saber's Noble Phantasm is something that I don't think Urza can get up from. And a lot of Urza's different armor types are something that Saber would be prepared for, just based off the fact that she's fought all different types of villains, all different types of classes. So Saber has that knowledge already. We can move on to number 4 with Yami from Black Clover. And this is where I do think Saber would stop. Not because Yami is a better swordsman than Saber, because when it comes down to swordsmanship, I'm telling you right now, Saber belongs in the conversation of that of a Mihawk who is in round 5. But when we're looking based off of Yami's magic abilities, and the fact that he's arcane, and the fact that he can cut a dimension with the dimension slash, that does make this matchup very difficult for Saber, because we have not seen Saber fight anybody that's ripping dimensions. Now, you can say that the Noble Phantasm of Archer can kind of change the dimension as well, but it's different when you have somebody that's cutting through it, like Yami. Now, can Saber block Yami's dimension slash with Avalon? That's the real question, because we know that Avalon is pretty much the ultimate defense for Saber. That's the ultimate, that's something that we have not seen get destroyed yet in the Fate series. But if Yami is able to use the dimension slash and cut through that, I think Yami does take it. But if he can't cut through the Avalon, Saber might take it up. So our round 4 is very tricky. I might give it to Yami. And then we can move on to number 5. We have Mihawk from One Piece. This is another one that can go either way, because based off of the swordsmanship, I would really love to see this matchup. Mihawk is titled the world's best swordsman in One Piece. Saber is hands down the best sword fighter in Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night. It would be an amazing matchup. Now it comes down to Avalon. Do I think Mihawk can cut Avalon with the Black Blade, with the Ryo Haki? We have no idea. I'm not sure, because we have not seen anybody in the Fate series destroy the Avalon, at least in Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night. But when we talk about Excalibur, the Noble Phantasm, what can Mihawk do to counter that? It comes down to, do we think Mihawk has Conqueror's Haki? And this is essentially why I think this matchup can honestly go either way, because if we're giving Mihawk Conqueror's Haki to deal with Excalibur, I do think he may be able to find a way to get through that. But if he does not have Conqueror's Haki, and the Ryo is not really getting through Avalon, Saber can maybe go through this entire gauntlet only struggling with Yami and Mihawk. So let's keep going. we got Gon and Killua, but not just standard Gon and Killua. It looks like we have Godspeed Killua and adult Gon. In round 1, it has Tanjiro and Nezuko. Why are they doing this to Demon Slayer? I don't understand why we're doing this to Demon Slayer. Somebody is out to get Demon Slayer because Tanjiro and Nezuko are just getting bodied immediately. I don't have to waste too much time on round 1. Round 2, it looks like we have 2 of the monster trio in Roronoa Zoro and Sanji. Now, what makes this interesting is that out of all these fighters, you can make a case that when it comes to reaction speed, Godspeed Killua is the fastest. But when we're talking about pure durability, an output of power, and what Zoro and Sanji can bring to the table, not only the raid suit that it makes Sanji invisible, I don't know how Killua and Gon are going to deal with that, but the fact that Zoro now has Conqueror's Haki, he can bring in the Ryuo from Enma. Like, I don't understand why they were brought up in this matchup so early, but when we look back at the chart, Zoro and Sanji are getting through Godspeed Killua and Gon. They don't have the durability to really keep up with Zoro or Sanji. Going into round 3, it looks like we have Ace and Marco, and I've put a lot of respect on Ace in the past, and you already know how I feel about Ace. Obviously, he's a Logia style, and we have Marco, who has one of the greatest devil fruits in the One Piece series with his mythical zone type. He can regenerate, he can box at an elite level. Now, are Gon and Killua beating Marco and Ace? They have no shot. I don't know how they're dealing with the Logia style. Again, it doesn't even matter if you Godspeed Killua is trying to paralyze people and things like that. It's just not gonna work. Too much power, too much finesse. We go on to Natsu and Gray, and again, this is way beyond what Gon and Killua can really deal with. The combination of fire and ice, the fact that Gray and Natsu have battled against each other and have shown an output of strength that far surpasses what Gon and Killua can bring, even in their most powerful forms. We move on to number 5, Naruto and Sasuke, and we could just move on to the next gauntlet. Like, it just is what it is. You already know what's going on. This is something I cannot understand. I'm confused because we see a picture of Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. Now, you know and I know that if we are taking not only Goku, not only Vegeta, but we are fusing them together, and then we are taking them to their highest transformation that we have seen to date in a gauntlet, you would need to see some top tier verses. You would need to see some top tier people. I mean, everybody that is on this gauntlet has to be something outrageous, right? I just need to see, I mean, I know a lot of people will be talking about Anos, and I would need to see these type of people on this gauntlet. But what I'm seeing here is in round 1, the Yonko from One Piece. Come on, man. I don't like saying this because I'm a One Piece fan, but we all know what's going on. That's easy stomps. Everybody in the One Piece verse is getting bodied. Like, it just is what it is. We move on to round 2, and the fact that we don't even have the entire Naruto verse is disrespectful. Let me tell you why. DMS Kakashi can switch into different dimensions. That's one of his biggest things. He has the Kamui. And then when we look at Might Guy in 8 Gates, he was putting in work against Madara, 10 Tails. These are some of the strongest in the Naruto verse, but they're not even the cream of the crop. They're not even the top tiers. So the fact that we're not even seeing a Naruto and Sasuke, we're not even seeing a 10 Tails Madara is questionable, because we have to look at who we're running this gauntlet with. Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. Why don't we have a picture of the entire Naruto verse in here? We only have 2 characters from Naruto. This is disrespectful. Complete destruction. Moving on, we have Gojo, and we have, it looks like Itadori in the Sukuna form. It doesn't matter. The verse is getting blown up. Why are we even entertaining this? We've seen Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta boxing against Broly, and they literally broke the dimension because the outputs of their power were so powerful that it was literally destroying the very type of reality that they were fighting in. That alone is breaking through anything that Gojo can cook up, that Sukuna can cook up. We're moving on to 7 Deadly Sins. And now this is a little bit strange because 7 Deadly Sins does have a lot of top tier fighters. And the thing is that when we bring up Chaos is kind of strange because it can change reality. It can warp reality. People like Kath had to literally get absorbed by Arthur. They couldn't even get destroyed because they kept coming back. But all I can tell you is that Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta is not worried about any of that. Verse is getting blown up. The fact that Arthur is wielding the Chaos power, all we have to do is destroy Arthur and everybody else is getting packed up. We're moving on to the last round here, and it looks like we have some of the leftovers from Dragon Ball Z villains. I don't know what they're gonna do. You need Broly for the likes of Gogeta. Bottom line, Let's move on to the next gauntlet. Okay, we got Shinra running the gauntlet. You already know how it is. Shinra, the hysterical strength of a fire scene. That is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. We're moving on to round 1, and it looks like we have Itadori from JJK. He's getting packed up. Listen to me. Itadori has one of the greatest please rescue me, save me cards in Sukuna. But once Shinra gets busy, he can break out his too. His is the evangelist. His is getting the Adola burst. His is using grace and going so fast that time rewinds. I don't know what Itadori is doing with that, at least right now. I don't know what's going on. I have to keep seeing more JJK in order to make an accurate assessment, but based on what I'm seeing right now in the anime, Shinra is clapping him. Moving on to round 2, we have Sanji from One Piece. Now, I love Sanji. I do think he's great. I think he's fantastic with the raid suit, but there is no question, there is no doubt that speed-wise, Sanji is not keeping up with Shinra, speed-wise. Now, power-wise, Sanji can put in a lot of blows against Shinra, but when it comes to speed, Shinra is much, much faster than Sanji. So it comes down to a point where, can Sanji really use his invisible side of the raid suit to catch Shinra off guard? Maybe he can. But if he can't, Shinra does beat him. And I do think until I see some observation hockey from Sanji, because I do think he would need that to at least keep up with Shinra, who's going to be moving so fast, I think Shinra can take down Sanji. Now we're moving on to round 3, and we have Marco, the Phoenix, the second in command of the Whitebeard Pirates. This is where Shinra loses. And again, he's much faster than Marco. Shinra is much faster than Marco. But the thing is Marco can regenerate at super fast speeds. He can heal himself. He's a great fighter. He obviously has fought against the admirals. We've seen Marco put in a lot of work against some top tier characters in One Piece. And I won't forget to mention this. Once Shinra starts using grace too much, he can overheat. That is something that Marco can exploit. Because if Shinra can't overheat, Marco does not have to worry about overheating. He's chilling. So all of Shinra's attacks are going to be going straight through him, and he's going to be chilling, not worrying about overheating. Shinra does. Shinra has to worry about overheating. So Shinra is going to lose in round 3 to Marco. Now we can move up to round 4 against Asta. And we actually talked about this versus battle in a video actually. So if y'all want to check that out, you'll see my opinion there. At round 5, we have Natsu going up against Shinra. And I'm giving it to Natsu, man. The fact that Shinra is a pyrokinetic, it just makes Natsu better. It makes Natsu hungry. It makes him literally hungry. He's gonna eat that power and absorb it and use it for his own. He's gonna burn through time. He's gonna burn through all these things that Shinra's gonna be bringing up to him. The only advantage that Shinra has over Natsu is that he's faster, but Natsu is just so much stronger, and all the firepower that Shinra's gonna be outputting, Natsu's gonna be absorbing that energy, eating it, using it to make his attacks more powerful. So Natsu takes it in round 5. Now you guys let me know down in the comment section below which gauntlets do you agree with, which gauntlets do you disagree with. Again, I really appreciate you guys for always showing support to the channel, man. Road to 100K, let's do it. And with that, I'll see you next time. Peace.